Alright, so today we're going to look at how to solve this equation, x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2 equals 0, using a TI graphing calculator. Right now we're looking at the TI-84 Plus, but this is actually the same button pressing and interface that you're going to use for all of the TIs, TI-83 Plus, TI-84, 4 Plus, and the Plus CE. So the first thing what we're going to do is we actually are going to graph this equation to try and solve it. So to graph this equation, we're going to hit the y equals button in the top left corner, and then you're going to input your equation. So it was x to the third power minus 4x. Whoops, we can see that I made a mistake here and that the minus 4x is in the exponent. That's because when I was trying to enter that, I forgot to press the over key. So we're going to delete this. So after you're done with your exponent, you have to press the button to the right so that you get back to the level, the ground level, or we can call it. So minus 4x plus 2. And then we're going to hit the graph button on the top right corner. And it will graph our function. So we can see this graph here in blue. And now we have to ask ourselves, well, how many x-intercepts are there? Because the x-intercepts represent our solutions to our equation. So we can see that there are 3 x-intercepts, and those are going to be our 3 solutions, because our cubic should have 3 solutions at most. So to figure out what the actual solutions are, we're going to follow these steps. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to hit the second button. So it's right under the y equals on the left hand side. And you're going to hit second, and now you're going to hit the trace button. So we're activating the calculate feature. Second trace brings up the calculate option. And we want to calculate a 0. Remember, we talked about this before, that there are multiple names for x-intercepts. X-intercepts are also called zeros, sometimes they're called solutions, and sometimes they're called roots. Now, in this case, we're looking at x-intercepts, and we're looking for solutions to our equation. So we're going to look at zeros. So we're going to choose option 2 to calculate a 0. So now you get this blinking cursor that's sitting on your function, and in the bottom of our screen we see that it's asking us to establish a left bound. So basically what that's asking us is to take this blinking cursor and put it to the left of one of our intercepts. Now for the sake of this example, I'm just going to solve each of these going from left to right. So we have to take this blinking cursor and move it somewhere to the left on the x-axis of this intercept. So you're just going to tab over. So now we can see it's to the left of our intercept. You're going to hit enter, and you see that it establishes this value as our left bound. Now it's asking us to do the same thing but to the right. So we're going to go to the right of our x-intercept a little bit. You just have to be a little bit to the right of it. Hit enter, and you can see that what this is telling us is that we're looking for an x-intercept in between these x values. So that's what those vertical lines are establishing. Then it asks you to make a guess. So basically you just try and get your blinking cursor as close to your x-intercept as possible, so somewhere around there. Hit enter, and it will calculate your x-intercept or your 0 for you. Let's round our answer to the hundredths place, so to 2 decimal places. So in this case, our x-intercept is going to be negative 2.12, comma 0. So this is our first x-intercept, and then you're going to repeat that process for the other two to finish solving. So I'll go through this one more time so that you can calculate this one, and then I'll have you finish the last one on your own. Okay, so remember to calculate our intercept, we hit the second button after we're in our graph. We hit second and then trace to activate the calculate option. We want to calculate a 0, so we're going to choose option 2. And now again it's asking us for a left bound. So we go somewhere to the left of this intercept. So we can go right here. Now it's going to ask us for a right bound, so we have to go to the right of this x-intercept, so we can go somewhere right here. And then we see it's looking for an x-intercept in between about 0 and 1. And then we make a guess. So try and get this as close to the x-axis as possible. Hit enter, and it's going to calculate this one for us. So our second x-intercept, again remember we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, is going to be at 0.54, comma 0. Okay, so right now if you would, take the time to practice finding the value of the last intercept using your graphing calculator. Remember, this only works for the TI graphing calculators. There is a way to calculate the intercepts on other graphing calculators, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. I think I could probably help you out. It might just take me a second to figure it out. All right, good luck.